Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Happy Bringling. Namaskar, friends, and welcome to Wealth with Purpose Mondays. Last week we spoke about why 60% in startups, and today we are going to talk about why 40% in Sone Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao or SKCKJ Centres towards building skills, health, and environment for generations. We don't inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. That is one of the American proverbs. Today we explore the heart of Sone Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao movement, the why behind the 40% allocation to Sone Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao centers, which are the pillars of skills, health, and environment. You see, when we spoke last week about the 10,000 crore Wealth with Purpose Fund, we discussed about 60% would power startups, India's next 100 unicorns. But this week is not about speed or valuation. It's about depth. It's about grounding. It's about legacy. And this is very critical because these are the three areas where not much venture capital funding goes through. It's a social impact model. It's not a very profitable model. But every economy that rises, stay risen only when its people are skilled, healthy, and living in harmony with nature. And that's what she is all about. Skills, health, environment. That is what it truly means. When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. But when health is lost, something is lost. And when character and purpose are lost, everything is lost. That is being said by our very own Swami Vivekananda. Friends, let's pause for a reality check. India today is the fourth largest economy in the world by GDP. But do you know where we stand in the per capita income? Any guesses? Put the number below. We have ranked 139th. Behind dozens of much smaller nations. Over 70% of our people live below the effective poverty line. Not because they lack talent or drive, but because they lack opportunity. The truth is, a hungry stomach can't focus on education. And an unhealthy body can't support a healthy mind. When pollution, poor nutrition, unskilled labor dominate our villages, we lose not just economic potential, we lose human potential. And that's why our dream isn't just to build unicorns. It's to build humans who can build those unicorns. That's the foundation of Mission Zero. Mission Zero Unemployment or Mission Net Zero. Because without skilled youth, healthy citizens and clean environment, no GDP number matters. Educate one child and you can change a life. Educate 100 and you can change a generation. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who is the very well example for this. A poor child from a remotest village in Tamil Nadu, who created ISRO and also became the President of India. Let's imagine something together. A small child in Varthur, Bangalore, walks into a preschool every morning. Bright-eyed, barefoot, curious, she learns not just ABCs, but art, kindness, and the joy of learning. Her parents can't afford the elite schools, but through a social venture fund, her education is sponsored forever, sustainably. No donor fatigue, no closing doors. Now imagine her mother learning English, computers, or financial literacy at the same center in the afternoon, and her father attending a weekend wellness session at a health hub. Learning preventive care, while in the evenings, local youth volunteer to plant trees, create green micro businesses in the same community. That's what an SKCKJ Center does. It's not a building, it's a living ecosystem. Skills empower the poor to earn with dignity. Health gives every citizen a chance to live with vitality. And environment ensures that they have a planet to live on. And each center is self-sustainable through affordable services, local entrepreneurship, CSR partnerships, and blended finance. It's not free. It's not charity. It's cash flow with compassion. Purpose without profit dies fast. Profit without purpose destroys faster. That is what my quote is. Anshab Jain. I repeat, purpose without profit dies faster, dies fast. Profit without purpose destroys faster. Now let's talk about logic, not emotion. Why allocate 40% of the 10,000 crore fund here when we can entirely invest 100% and make 100x plus potential? Because this 40% does three powerful things. One, it creates sustainable cash flows for social impact. Every school, health hub, or green project generates income. That income fuels both reinvestment and investor returns. It protects principal for the investors. SKCKJ Centres act as a stability shield, a principal protection guarantee for the 60% venture fund. While startups chase 100x plus, centers ensure consistent 10, 20, 30% annual cash flows. It ensures resilience and inclusivity. Even if markets dip or startups exits delay, society continues to thrive. No child education stops, no clinic closes, no environmental projects halts. For investors, this 40% gives emotional and financial security. For donors and NGOs, it replaces dependency with dignity. For the nation, it lays the foundation for permanent progress. Whether you invest 100% in a social venture fund, 60-40 or 100% in venture capital fund, this dual engine model ensures balance between high growth and high goodness. It's Bharat's first wealth and wealth with purpose flyway. Golden bird will rise again. Not when we find gold in our land, but when we find purpose in our wealth. That is what I as an entrepreneur or as a leader visioning for Vision 2047. Probably that could be my Vision 2047 address to some nation, to the entire nation. Friends, every generation is given a window of opportunity, a short period in which they can redefine a nation's destiny. For us, that window is 2030, from now to 2030 to 2047. By 2030, India is expected to have 280 to 300 plus unicorns. We might be the third or maybe the third largest economy. What if these unicorns were Bharat-backed, funded, mentored, and owned by Indians? And what if their profit didn't just go into luxury homes or stock markets, but into building schools, skill labs, green centers in every district, every city? That's what Sone Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao, awakening the golden bird means. It's not nostalgia, it's a blueprint. We're not chasing wealth for wealth's sake. We're chasing wealth with purpose. Because the goal is not to die rich. It is to live useful and to leave behind a legacy that continues to serve. India's next freedom struggle is not for land or liberty. It's for purpose. Sone Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao movement, Vision 2047. So as we end today's conversation and move on to, or I would say current conversation, remember this: when we invest in startups, we build growth. When we invest in SKCKJ centers, we build roots. The 60% creates momentum, 40% gives its meaning. And together they give birth to something extraordinary. A self-sustaining Bharat where every rupee invested multiplies both wealth and well-being. This is not just finance, this is philosophy in motion. It's a fusion of ambition and compassion, where your billion-dollar dream aligns with Bharat's dream. Because what good is $1 billion if it can't create a billion smiles? So you reflect tonight, ask yourself, when my story is told 25 years from now, will it be of a man who made money or of a human being who made meaning? That's what Wealth with Purpose Monday stand for. Not fundraising, not fear, not fantasy, but just a movement to awaken the golden bird once again. We have been talking about on Wealth with Purpose on various aspects. Week 1, we spoke about why free charity fails. Week 2, we spoke about 10,000 crore Wealth with Purpose engine. Week 3, we spoke about why 60% in startups and how you can back the next 100 unicorns of India. And in this week 4, we are looking at the other 40%. the SKCKJ centers, because this is the heart of sustainability, designed around skills, health, and environment. This is where we prove that social projects don't have to collapse. This is where we show how one investment today can fund generations of impact. This is where legacy is created. Let's face it, we live in a country where millions of children are out of the school. Healthcare is either too costly or too poor. Our environment is choking under waste and pollution. Governments try, NGOs try, but they run out of money. So what happens? A school opens, then shuts. A clinic starts, then collapses. An environment project begins, then disappears. Project problem is dependency, sustainability. If you depend on free charity, you will collapse when donations stop. And that's the truth. That's why we built the SKCKJ model. SKCKJ stands for Sone Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao, and in these centers we work on skills, health, and environment. Skills will take care of preschools, after school, tuition centers, skills academy, school. Paid students cover the cost. Underprivileged students studies for free. You may call it as a Robin Hood model, or you may call it whatever. Our first center in Varthur, Bangalore is educating 100 plus children every year, sustained by fee-paying students. And there are multiple revenue sources: clinics, wellness hubs, nutrition centers, blood donation camps, subscription models, service fees generate cash flows. Poor patients get subsidized or free treatment. Green energy projects, waste management units, water recycling, carbon credits. Each project generates revenue while greening our planet. So for every 1 rupee invested in an SKCKJ center, you create a steady cash flow. You fund free services for the needy. You secure 10 to 20% passive income for yourself, and you build impact that never ends. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Is this another NGO? No, my dear friend. This is a business model center. They don't beg for money. They generate income, revenues, profits with sustainability, and support people who cannot afford. You must be thinking, if my capital disappears, capital is invested in hard assets here, not just the virtual projects or some schemes. There are centers, projects, community hubs. It's safe with returns in 3 to 5 years' time. You must be saying that, why don't just donate? Because donations vanish. SKCKJ centers multiply every rupee into a recurring impact. Now imagine, let's talk about your desires. Imagine a preschool or a health hub named after your family. Imagine generations of children saying, I studied here because of you. Imagine your children and grandchildren proud that your wealth created schools, clinics, and green projects. This is not income. This is immortality. Now, friends, let me be very clear. We cannot build 10,000 centers overnight. The first few centers would be limited. Only the early founding investors will have their names attached. Minimum entry into social venture fund is 50,000 rupees. Large contributors can fund an entire center in their family's name, 50 lakh rupees. But once these slots are taken, they're gone. This is not something you can join later and still claim legacy. This is your chance to be the part of the first cohort of builders of SKCKJ centers in India. So friends, as we close week 4, remember this: startups create wealth. SKCKJ centers creates purpose. Together they create wealth with purpose. And here is what you need to do now. Download the ebook, click the link below in the description and comments. Set up your one-on-one call with me today, non-obligatory either side. Subscribe to Bringle Talks YouTube channel. This is the only week 4 and the journey is far from here. Next Monday at 4 p.m. IST in week 5, we will reveal the passive income equation, how your 50,000 or 5 lakh rupees become lifelong 10 to 20% or 30% income with a potential of 100x plus returns, and why passive income is not optional anymore, it's survival. Don't miss it, because if you skip even 1 week, you will miss a piece of the puzzle. Remember, you can either dare to dream big or die wondering about $1 billion dream. The choice is yours and your legacy begins today. Keep bringing, keep growing, keep spreading the Bringle dream wave, and let's speak loud. Jagao, jagao, har ghar tiranga ke saath, har ghar sone ki chidiya ko jagao. Keep bringing, keep growing. Keep spreading the Bringle dream wave.